my friends, today is a video about Salesforce careers and specifically about what it means to be a Salesforce admin, Salesforce Business Analyst. He will share with us his experience about what his plans and how he got into this field. So I'm pretty excited about this interview because Salesforce admin, Salesforce Business Analyst is the way a lot of people start and the way a lot of people get into the Salesforce field. And Shobhit will now tell us how he got in this field.
So thank you, Mech, and my name is Shobhit Bhansal. I am originally from India, and I've done my undergrad in mechanical engineering, and I did my master's in management information systems. And after that, I worked in in the financial domain in a couple of banks doing ETL development. And I got and I interned with Salesforce during my master's at Texas A&M. So that was a great experience. And I've been working with Salesforce for 2 years now, and it has been really an amazing experience and a journey. And I am looking forward to taking this journey further.
Shobhit, did you get started with Salesforce after your master's? Or were you already interested in Salesforce before?
So I completed my master's in a couple of years ago, and almost 6 years ago.
Half a decade.
That's like half a decade, yeah. But it seems like it was just yesterday, because it's also fresh in my mind because it was a new field. I was coming from a mechanical background. It was my first step into IT. I was the youngest kid in my course. Everyone was like 27, 28 years.
How old were you?
I was 20.
20?
Yeah.
Masters?
Yeah. So I was the youngest kid on the block, and so I learned a lot, and it was pretty daunting at first, but it was really challenging, and I loved that part that it was challenging. So it made me grow and learn even more. And at that time, Salesforce was pretty kind of new, like especially Lightning, that concept.
6 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was still growing. Like Salesforce was the biggest CRM even at that point, and you could hear it here and there, and especially in like the Bay Area and the Silicon Valley. And while I was doing my master's, it was one of those dream companies to work for. That people wanted to go to Microsoft, Amazon, and Salesforce. Oh yeah. So I was kind of honored and lucky that I got an internship with Salesforce during my master's. So that's what kind of got me more involved with it.
Really?
Since I got to get an internal kind of viewpoint of Salesforce and how things work within Salesforce.
Your internship was the gateway into Salesforce world. So if you had an internship with Microsoft, then you might have not started your career as a Salesforce professional. Wow, so that was a very chance encounter, yeah?
Yeah, that is partially true. Yeah, it's probably on point. And you know what is funny is, what's funny is that after my internship at Salesforce, I kind of took a step back and I wanted to try different things. So I actually went in and became an ETL developer. So I was working on Informatica and Informatica Power Center, like workflow designer, workflow manager, trying to basically do migrations, and I was more on the back end of things in the company, like handling the data migrations, the data models, and the data modeling plans and everything. So it was a little, at that point is when I realized that was a little too dry for me, and what I did like was Salesforce. I really loved what I was doing with Salesforce, within Salesforce, and everything about Salesforce. So that's when I kind of got involved again about 2.5 years ago.
So you found Informatica field like maybe lack of innovation, lack of excitement in that field, right? So that's why you pivoted back into Salesforce.
Right. It's exactly that.
Shobhit, so you were very lucky that a chance internship and a fantastic internship started for you a Salesforce career. And during your internship, you attended Dreamforce. Tell me about your experience attending Dreamforce, and maybe also can you tell me about your internship? What is it like working for Salesforce?
Sure. So at Salesforce, I was basically a pre-sales solutions engineer So I'll kind of try and put it in a short bubble because it's I can keep going on and on about that internship. It was a great experience. So, but I was working in the pre-sales department where after the salespeople had kind of qualified the clients, I would be their technical consultant. So I would talk to the client, have them. This is before they bought Salesforce, right? So before an organization has bought Salesforce, they're trying to understand why. So we go to them. We do a discovery process. I do a discovery process where I would understand their business and see what their pain points are and how exactly what business processes are their core or their backbone. And then I would go back to my desk and make a demo on Salesforce. And that's what's beautiful about Salesforce is that even when I was a beginner, I had absolutely no clue. I did not have any certifications. I was able to point and click and create demos on Salesforce and actually show them to customers and say that this is what your business would look like on Salesforce. And they're functional demos. You can actually click around and show them some things. And that would just amaze people that if you can make a demo within 2 days, like of course you can implement Salesforce for even a big organization within 2 months. So I was doing that. That was basically like a technical consultant role. And I did that for almost 7 months at Salesforce.
7-month internship?
Yeah.
How do you get a 7-month internship?
So it was supposed to be 3 months, and but when I was nearing the end of it, like I was liking the work that I was doing, and my manager was liking the work that I was doing. So I spoke to them, and we both they asked me if I could stay for a bit longer. I said yes, like why not? Like it's a great learning experience. And then Dreamforce was coming around, so they said that you could be part of Dreamforce as well. I said of course, like I'll do that. Like it was definitely I'll tell you, like finding a job is definitely, I feel a bit of it is luck, and I got lucky for sure.
Oh, that's incredible! You just discovered Salesforce, you got your feet wet, and then next thing you know, you're helping sell Salesforce.
Yeah,
that's an amazing jump from zero to hero. Helping Salesforce,
right?
Salesforce's bottom line. Then once you're selling, then you must really must have encouraged you to become passionate about it, understand its futures, understand its advantages. That's amazing.
That's perfectly true.
I wish I had that kind of internship. How did you get there?
So, like I said, it was actually Salesforce is big on referrals. So I reached out to someone within Salesforce who was an alumni of A&M. And I said that I really like what I did like about Salesforce because I had looked them up online and what they do. So I reached out to the person and said, I'm really interested. There are a couple of internship positions open. Would it be possible for you to refer me? And that person, Salesforce has a great culture when it comes to referrals.
Wow, I wish I knew that strategy.
LinkedIn.
So anyone who is looking for an internship at Salesforce, reach out into your alumni network of your college or master's program or your previous companies and get a referral. Shobhit, can you tell me about your Salesforce related jobs? Since you completed your master's program at Texas A&M, what was your first Salesforce job? Were you an admin, a business analyst, and how did you get that first job? I think for a lot of people that's the most difficult, is how do you get your foot in the door? Maybe it was your Dreamforce experience or Salesforce experience, and then your connections at Dreamforce that helped you make connections and get that first awesome job. So please tell us, how did you get that first job?
It's a great question, and I think one that your viewers will definitely find useful, because I realized when I wanted to get a Salesforce job, I needed certifications. So I got my Salesforce Admin 201 certification and Sales and Service Cloud Consultant certifications. And trust me guys, you can study for them. They're easy to take and you'll pass them in one go for sure. And once I did that, I reached out to people again, you guessed it, via LinkedIn, and there were people who would reach out to me once I put in those certifications on my profile. People would reach out because as soon as you put your certifications, people think that yes, people get to know, like you have credibility automatically as soon as you have your certifications. So once I did my certifications, I reached out, people reached out to me, and I had a couple of offers actually.
So you weren't even applying to jobs?
Sorry?
You weren't even applying to jobs?
No, yeah, I was, but then people were reaching out to me as well. You know, it was great. Salesforce is great, guys. So I did not have to, like, it was not as grueling as looking for other jobs, I could tell you that. So I was, in fact, like I said, I had a couple of offers, but I wanted to live in California, so I chose Irvine. I worked. My first Salesforce job was as a Salesforce admin, and it was in Capital One in Irvine, and it was more of environment management, basically just managing their entire instance of Salesforce and making sure that users have access to what they want. If anything needs to be changed around, like in terms of page layouts or in terms of user access or permission sets, I would be doing that. And I did that for almost a year and a half, and the brilliant part is that after almost a year at the company, for 7 months or so, I was actually working remote. So I was living in San Francisco, living with family and working remotely, which Salesforce gives you the flexibility to be able to do. And after that, I realized that I'd seen a lot of the West Coast, so I wanted to see more of the East Coast. So after that, I came to Morgan Stanley, and I was working in New York, in Manhattan actually. So at Morgan Stanley, I was a Salesforce Business Analyst, and typically what my day-to-day was, I would sit with my stakeholders, figure out what requirements they needed, how their current system worked, and their current processes, and then be able to figure it out how to kind of implement that within Salesforce and make Salesforce work for their different business units and still not increase the cost too much for them.
And how long were you with Morgan Stanley?
About a year.
Yeah.
A year and a month actually, so a bit over a year. And in that short amount of time, I will say, we were able to collect requirements, we were able to show them a proof of concept for Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics, and we were able to implement the Sales Cloud for them, like for 200 users for their asset management group. So that's the speed that you can work with Salesforce. Typically, if you were working with any other software like SAP or anything else, like in a different platform, that might take you almost 3 years and maybe 5 times the money.
Oh, really?
But yeah, Salesforce things are quick, and that makes it exciting. It makes it. So after Morgan Stanley, I joined T. Rowe Price as a Salesforce product analyst, and that's a more recent gig. I joined about a month ago. What I'm doing here is T. Rowe Price already has a Salesforce implementation about a year and a half ago, and we're making constant enhancements to it and making sure that we, again, talk to our business stakeholders. So I, as a product analyst, I work with my product owners, and I'll go to those meetings, ask the right questions about what their current sales process is and how their end users are using Salesforce and what do they want to do better. So one important thing that we're doing right now is we're migrating from Salesforce Classic to Salesforce Lightning, and that is going to make a big difference when it comes to our end users, because it's a much better UI. You can make it much more intuitive, you can reduce the chair swivel, you can minimize the number of clicks that they have, and that's what we're looking to do. So I talk to the business owners, get those requirements. We work in an agile manner, so I'll write user stories, acceptance criteria for every small enhancement, and break it down. We use Rally for project management, and what I'll do is, after the user stories and the acceptance criteria that I write for those user stories, I'll put them in Rally, assign the tasks to developers. Sitting in an agile room, we'll do all the Scrum ceremonies, and we have peer review. So any enhancement or any feature that we kind of implement, we ourselves, the product analyst and the different business analysts, we will test it ourselves. So we don't have a dedicated QA team, unfortunately. But that's basically I get to wear a lot of hats and do multiple things as a Salesforce product analyst. After being an admin and a product analyst and a business analyst, right now where I'm trying to grow my skills are towards becoming a Salesforce developer. Now that's for a couple of reasons. I'll first go into the why and then tell you how. So why is because I'm looking for a new challenge, and I want to learn something new, and I want to be more well-rounded at my job, because I've been a business analyst, I've been a product analyst, and if I can understand the development side of things as well, I can write better user stories and acceptance criteria, I can work with my team even better, and I can think about taking a more senior role as maybe a Salesforce architect or a tech solutions architect, where I'm overseeing the entire implementation or any enhancement that's going on. Another reason for doing that is a Salesforce developer or a Salesforce architect. It's a very lucrative job for sure. So there's a lot of demand and not too much supply. Trust me, the industry is definitely moving towards there, where most of the organizations want their business to be on the cloud, where they don't have to pay too much upfront costs, and it's all licenses, and they can scale in whatever direction and how much ever they want to, vertically and horizontally. So Salesforce is where CRMs and Salesforce is where the IT world, and not just the IT world, the financial world, the hospitality world, the health industry, all of them are moving towards the cloud, and this demand is only going to increase. And if you can, the sooner you get into it, the better it's going to be, because the more experience you will have, and you'll be able to grow even more. So in my current job at T. Rowe Price as a Salesforce product analyst, my typical day-to-day looks like we have a daily stand-up where there's a Scrum Master who organizes the daily stand-up, make sure that we're on track. We have the entire development team, and we have a business analyst from the technical side, and we have a product analyst from the product side, which is me. And we sit together and we figure out that what are the different requirements that we've gathered from the business, and how we can prioritize them, and sequence them, and work on them in that particular 2-week sprint. And after the stand-up, it's if we feel like certain requirements are not complete or there's something missing, then as a product analyst, I'll talk to the business, working in conjunction with my product owner, and working with them, and try to figure out what else is needed, and how exactly can I write my requirements or my user stories even better, so that my developers know exactly what to build. A funny thing is that it's technically still a business analyst role, but since we have a business analyst from the technical team as well, so to kind of just differentiate between them and us, we're called Salesforce product analysts. From the exterior point of view, or for someone who's outside the team, they have a better understanding that I am more on the Salesforce side. Like I am on my team is called the CRM 360 team. So we are responsible for the entire Salesforce implementation. And then the technical team is called the GBS, or the General Business Services group. And they work on a couple of things. They work on data migrations into Salesforce and getting data out of Salesforce as well. So just to differentiate between them, I'm called a product analyst, but
sounds
at
better.
the end of the day, yeah.
Sounds cooler.
Sounds fancier.
Hopefully better salary too.
Yeah.
Hey,
For someone who's looking to find their first Salesforce job, here are the 3 things that I would recommend. Is first thing being do trailheads. Learn what you want to learn about Salesforce, because it's vast and you want to start at some point and you want to know where you want to start. Second thing, as soon as you know, do certifications. Get an admin certification, get a Sales Cloud certification. If you're interested on the development side, get a developer certification. It's $200 for the exam. You can find a lot of courses for $10 or $15 online, which will train you along with trailheads, and you can pass those certifications for sure. And third thing, to actually find that job, put those certifications to use and put them on LinkedIn and reach out to people, reach out to staffing firms, reach out to recruiters, reach out to people at Salesforce, because for all you know, you might be working for Salesforce. It's finding a job is a big part of it is luck, but luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So get your certifications and keep knocking on every door, and you never know what door might open for you.